right there. That way everybody's in it. And they're not smooshed in. You know what I'm saying? It's still a good size picture. And then when Bishop gets ready to preach, then close in. And then that way, like you say, it's less. Now answer this one. The more times you move it, is that
See, because right now it looks,
let's see how I do that.
yeah, and it looks pretty good, right? We're not getting any pixelation
Right.
or anything, right? It's looking pretty,
And maybe we get pixelated because people are moving now. But they move, you know, when they think they move. Does that have anything to do with it?
possibly.
And see, it's gonna be slow. You know, it's gonna come back.
Yeah, right. So if we do that, let's see what it looks like on the screen here. I mean, it still looks pretty good. My other theory is, and unfortunately there's not a ton of data on, like there's not a lot of, I mean, I do a lot of research on this stuff to, you know, yeah, right, and there's a big streaming community of people who stream their video games and things, but because of the way we're doing it with a mobile hotspot, there's not a lot of data out there.
Okay. Most people have a.
Most people have internet, yeah, right. And because we're using cell tower data, when you have this church packed on Sunday, and they have their phones, and the phones are connected, they're taking bandwidth from the cell towers.
So if they mess with their phones in church, then that takes away from what we have.
Right, because you're all using the cellular
That's what
network.
I kind of thought, but I
So,
couldn't say it, you know,
and like-
I don't think I don't know, can he say, you know, during my sermon?
Yeah, and I'm not sure if that, it might make a
You don't know
difference.
if that's wrong.
I can't say for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, because I don't have I have no access to them.
Gotcha.
But if you ever go to like a Cardinals game, and the game ends, and everyone starts trying to use their phone, right, there's a huge dip in cell phone service.
Okay.
Because and I don't think this area has a lot of towers.
No, I'm sure
Right.
it doesn't.
I'm sure it has the bare bones
Because of what we deal with right now.
that they can get away with.
Okay.
So it's quite possible that if there's a bunch of people here and there's a lot of connections connecting to the cell tower that we are using for our internet service, it degrades.
And you know what though? Answer, maybe I don't know if you, even if they have internet, if they have a cell phone in their house, is it still fully work out?
Yeah, the cell phones are always connected to towers.
Okay.
The cell phones never use well, it depends actually, I should say that. If you're at your house and you're connected to your home's Wi-Fi and you're browsing the internet, then no, you're using your internet connection.
Okay.
But if you're not connected to Wi-Fi, it's using cellular data.
And most people don't have Wi-Fi. They use the cell phone tower. And they got a cell phone.
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, you're at your house, your
Well,
phone's
yeah, at
home.
home.
Yes, but here, no.
Right.
Here, no. And we don't want them connecting to the Wi-Fi.
No, we don't get
Because-
that information.
I know, and we don't want that because then if lots of people using the Wi-Fi, it's going to slow down the Wi-Fi.
Okay.
But since the Wi-Fi is also using the cell towers,
Gotcha.
right, there's probably some overlap there. I've tried to get a straight answer on this, but nobody can really tell me, right? And AT&T's not answering. Right, so, because, you know, I've sat here and I've tested this, you know, in this scenario, and it rarely gets pixelated, right? But for some reason during Sunday live service, it starts getting worse. And I'm pretty sure it's because we're hogging the cell tower has less bandwidth to give.
So that thing over there is
So-
basically a cell phone?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
thank you.
That thing over there, that white box, is essentially a cell phone connected to an internet router.
Oh, okay.
Just like you would have
And
at
it
your
doesn't
home.
need, it doesn't need a battery or anything?
No, the battery should be out because that puts it in home mode.
Okay.
It's meant to be portable, right? So that's what the battery's for. So you could use it in your car or something. But since this is a kind of a fancy one, it has what they call a network mode, whereby taking out the battery, when you plug it in to the power, it has to send power to the battery,
and the battery sends power to here. By taking out the battery, it gets more power. It's getting straight power from the wall.
Okay.
Right, so it's meant to operate like that. I checked the manual and everything. So it's meant to operate like that. But again, it is just a cell phone connected to a router. And normally what you have is a router connected to a modem, and the modem is getting the data from the cables in the ground. Right, so we're essentially, using a cell phone internet. Like if you go on your phone, you can turn it into a mobile hotspot. Have you ever done that?
Nope.
You can, yeah, you can go on your phone, and like if you're traveling, watch this, you can come here, and I can go to hotspot and tether, Wi-Fi hotspot, turning on, and then if we go over here to the Wi-Fi networks, there's my phone.
Oh, wow. Didn't know that.
And if I connect to it, it's using the cellular data from my phone to provide internet to the computer, which is essentially what that thing is doing. That thing is providing cellular data to the router, which is distributing it to all the devices we have in the church, right? That's how all that works. So I suspect that's probably the most likely explanation, because the more people use their, the more bandwidth, especially because you're all congregated in one area, right? Because
people do like keyboards.
yeah, and even if they're not using their phone's still connected to the network, right? So there's still going to be some level of using of the data. So, okay, so if we do it this way, now we've got the live stream, right? Right. Right, and see, and it looks pretty good, right? I mean, it's not getting pixelated. And I've done this for like 30 minutes up here, trying to, it's still not doing any pixelation, right? I mean, that's still pretty good quality video, but that's because we're the only ones here, right?
And the congregation in St. Peter's is not as large.
Well, in St. Peter's, you're getting it from the wall. You actually have internet access in St. Peter's, right? You actually have proper internet access, and which you don't have here, which is why we have to do this weird setup, right? Exactly. And then, so let's say we